Look, I'm going to admit making a video today is a little hard when I know that we're on the eve of the announcement of a Nintendo Direct. And yes, we'll see in less than 24 hours if I'm about to eat crow for saying that. But I firmly believe we are going to get a Nintendo Direct announcement tomorrow morning, making most of what we're going to talk about today a little bit irrelevant. Well, maybe not one of the things. Actually, one of our big stories today deals with Splatoon Raiders. Yes, that game that Nintendo did announce we know is real, but we don't know really much about it. It was kind of like a teaser. And then that was it. Is that a 2025 game? Is it 2026? Well, it looks like there might have been a leak at a retailer to give us more details, but we got to have our thinking caps on for this one because the leak is no longer on said retailer. So was it ever there? Is this made up or did it quickly get removed? It's a Malaysia retailer. So we're going to go into that. We also have a few other stories to go over, including, obviously, if you guys didn't see the big news that happened last night, Mario Paint coming out for Nintendo Switch Online. But let's go ahead and dive in after I remind you that, hey, 2 people are about to win a game of choice for any platform that's current at the moment. So PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC, of course. Can't forget about Switch and Switch 2. Yeah. All you gotta do is go down to the link in the pinned comment or the description to enter. We're also giving away 5 4-day passes to PAX West as well. That's a separate giveaway link down in the description and pinned comment as well. I wish all of you guys luck. Thank you, PAX West, for teaming with us for that giveaway. And let's go ahead and dive into the big rumor. So this comes from a retailer leak. It says new details on Splatoon Raiders. So back in June, we obviously know Nintendo revealed Splatoon Raiders, a Switch 2 exclusive. In the role of a mechanic, players go on an adventure in the mysterious Spirulite Islands alongside the Splatacular Deep Cut Trio. That's pretty much the only information we got on the game when it was revealed. But today might be our second info dump, thanks to a retail listing. A retailer in Malaysia has provided an updated listing for Splatoon Raiders. And while it doesn't show a release date, it does include a few tidbits that Nintendo hasn't shared. Please note, we aren't sure if this info is legitimate. Yeah. As I said, guys, the retailer appears to have no longer have it on the website. I went and I had to dig in this. I don't know, I spent like 2 hours digging for this story to even find out which retailer it was. So this info is no longer public, but apparently it was public. So here's what the retailer had to offer on Splatoon Raiders. It releases in 2025. That's good news there. A focus on adventure and exploration. More of a story element, so more story focused, obviously, than typical Splatoon games. A new quest system, and the mechanic, which is the player, is skilled in mechanical modification. The only other tidbit we know about Splatoon Raiders as fact is that it was rated by the ESRB, which usually indicates a game isn't that far off from launch. Could we learn more about Splatoon Raiders in the near future and actually see this one before the year closes out? Let's cross our fingers and hope that all comes true. I firmly believe this is a game that is going to be heavily featured in the Nintendo Direct on Thursday. I know this video could age very poorly if there's no Nintendo Direct on Thursday, but you know what? Sometimes you got to go down with the ship, and I'm going down with this Nintendo Direct ship. So, yeah, I fully expect to see this game on Thursday. Next up, we have some footage that I feel like should have been in the Pokemon Presents, but it's not. They're releasing it now. This comes from the Pokemon Company, and this is just showing off some battle stuff here for Pokemon Legends ZA. And yeah, look, this looks better to me than anything they showed in the actual Pokemon Presents, but also this is something that we were kind of already aware of, this sort of more live action dodging style combat system. It's honestly the most exciting thing to me Legends ZA has going on. So not really a shocker here to watch as you see like the cooldown timer on the attacks, and like none of this really surprises me. This is just the most exciting footage we have for Legends ZA. So take that for what you will. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to at least finding out more about this game. It is not currently, for me anyways, slated to be purchased, but maybe they could change my mind. And the battle system right now is one of the biggest things making me be interested at all in Legends ZA. Next up, while we have to get into a new game added to, well, NSO, we know Mario Paint. We'll talk about that. Well, I want to first note that that's not the only thing they updated with NSO. The SNES Classics CRT filter has been updated on Nintendo Switch 2 in particular. So if you've been indulging in the Super Nintendo Classics app on Nintendo Switch 2 via NSO, then you might have noticed a new CRT filter option. The new CRT filter is similar to the N64 Classics and the GameCube Classics one on Nintendo Switch 2, but with an NTSC S video style filter, giving a more realistic representation of 90s gaming than the previous one. It seems likely the new CRT filter will be updated on other Nintendo Classics apps on Nintendo Switch 2. So it's the only app that seems to have it, but there you go. That's a brief update there. And then we have to get to the big announcement Nintendo dropped last night. Mario Paint. We're just going to go ahead and play this trailer and talk a little bit. Look, it's a 3-minute long trailer, so there's a lot to go over. If you guys don't remember Mario Paint, it's okay. Some of you might not have been alive back then, or even if you were, maybe you just never rented this game or owned this game. I never owned the game, but I definitely did rent it back in the day. A very unique kind of painting game. Not just because you can, well, click on the letters there and have different things happen, but, and yeah, you have this coloring book style thing where you can just like click on sections and it fills in the section. Like, yeah, that's obviously really cool. But as you go through the trailer, I quickly got reminded of some of the cooler elements. Obviously, being able to do patterns there. You had a drawing board where you could draw pictures and stuff, kind of like MS Paint. But they had these other things you could do that were actually really, really, really fun in Mario Paint. One of the coolest things, obviously, we have this fly swatting mini game of sorts, but they had this stamp designer where you could design these stamps here, but it's the music. Everyone remembers the music aspect of the games, this music composition. This was one of the coolest things that, why is this in a Mario Paint game? I don't really know. They show off in here actually the music for Dr. Mario, which is really cool. Let's see if I can get that playing for you guys. So let's see here. I'm just trying to get the perfect section here. Here, I'll just play this out loud for you guys quick.
Pig, goose, and baby as sound options. In this case, let's compose something for our favorite pharmacological plumber. I call this piece that one Dr. Mario song I found within the Mario Paint Player's Guide, or Fever for short.
So there you go. Pretty cool that you could do that, obviously, in a Mario Paint game. So they did announce that it has full mouse support for the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, and also you can plug in like a normal mouse like I use right here and use that as well. They didn't say that it supports the original Mario Paint mouse, which is a little disappointing, but I guess I get it. Like, in the end, that mouse... I don't know. I think for nostalgia reasons, it'd be really cool if they made it work, but whatever. Now, I'm going to call this last topic more of a discussion because, again, I did say this video was hard to make today when really we're all on pins and needles waiting for Nintendo to announce a Nintendo Direct this week. And we already did predictions for this. I'll put a link down below to that. We have Nintendo Direct bingo set up for our podcast tomorrow night. That's going to be a lot of fun. But really what I want to focus on is the idea of there even being a Direct. Tomorrow is the moment of truth for a Nintendo Direct rumor in July. And we went over all of the reasons and all of the people in our rumor roundup video on why we think there's actually going to be a Nintendo Direct this month. And look, the 31st has always felt like a really likely date because it happens to be on a Thursday. And we're clear of the Pokemon event. We're clear of DK Bonanza. So if there was going to be a Direct in July, it always felt like the best time or the week before Bonanza came out. And we didn't get one that week. Now, Nate the Hate's obviously one of the biggest people that people pay attention to with these rumors. And I want to bring up his account here because, you know, people get really anxious. Get really anxious about things. And this is the one statement I found a little funny today. Tomorrow we will see if you were right. This was said yesterday. And today, obviously, there was no Direct announced. And he said, July concludes tomorrow. He was doing very similar conversations and very similar statements with the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal back on January 16th of that week. There was nothing announced, and he would just like kind of post his little meme of just sitting back and relaxing, sipping on a drink while on a beach, or obviously just acting like, hey, has the week ended yet? Like, you know, he's done stuff like this before because people get really anxious for these events, right? We get really excited and really hyped and really anxious. And there's a lot of anxiousness around Switch 2 right now because I saw a video earlier today that just didn't make sense to me, and maybe you guys can help it make sense. So I won't name the content creator because I don't want any flack going their way, but they basically said that there's no logical reason for a direct to even happen right now because we know about a bunch of games coming to Switch 2 from Nintendo, and we know about some third-party games as well. And while we do know, we don't know release dates. That video also strangely said that we usually don't know holiday release dates until the September Direct, which is just a factual inaccuracy. In fact, we almost always know all the holiday games before we get to the September Direct, and the September Direct advertises those games and then advertises usually games coming in the first half of the next year. So that's actually not usually what happens in September. There is obviously rare occasions like for the 35th anniversary of Mario, where they did announce a number of titles in that September event. But that was obviously also, we had COVID going on. And it was just a weird time. Typically, we know everything that's happening and release dates before we get to September. So the fact that we don't have release dates for Splatoon, we don't have release dates for, obviously, the Age of Imprisonment game. We don't have release dates for Metroid Prime. Right, we have a number of games, Kirby Air Riders, right? We have a number of games that we not only need to see more of, we need release dates for. So, yeah, unless you just don't think there's going to be any games coming out between now and then besides Dragon Drive. And I'm just going to sit back and say that logically, I think a Direct needs to happen. I want a Direct to happen, not just as a content creator, but as a gamer. Right now, the only game I'm really even looking forward to with a release date is Madden. And even then, I got some disappointing news on Madden today, and I'm still trying to do my research. It sounds like it won't have cross-platform play on Switch 2, which I'm not shocked because EA treating Nintendo like an equal system is a pipe dream. But it might be 60 FPS. It might be fully featured, except not supporting crossplay. That's massively disappointing. I'm in a Madden league. This Madden league has people who play on Xbox, people who play on PlayStation 5. I'd like to be able to join that league on Switch too. But because of that, not having that, I'm going to have to buy it for Xbox or PlayStation to continue to play in that league. And that's, it's not that I mind doing that. It's just I was really looking forward to being able to do it on handheld in my bedroom, being able to play my league games in my bedroom on handheld. Now it's like, okay, yeah, you can do that with my phone and a Bluetooth controller using, the streaming thing, but I didn't want to have to stream it. I wanted to play it local. And so I was really excited. And I guess, that's what I get for getting excited about stuff like that. And I'm hoping that the information's incorrect and it will have cross-platform play. I wish someone at EA would just tell me, but whatever. Anyways, folks, I am expecting a Direct announcement tomorrow. And if there isn't one, let's see, this video is gonna age very poorly. As will my video last week and my video rounding up the Direct rumors. That's all going to age pretty poorly. Our podcast schedule for tomorrow with Nintendo Direct Bingo will also age poorly. Obviously, if there's no Direct announced tomorrow, the title and the thumbnail will shift and change. And it'll be more about, oh, hey, there is no Direct. Let's talk about that. And that'll be like the huge topic of conversation. And I'm sure the comments and the live chatters will be very nice to me, just as I'm sure you'll all be nice to me tonight when I also talk about a Direct happening on Thursday. All right, guys, I am Nathaniel Robo Jazz from Nintendo Prime, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video.